This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Amy had to depart for the final half of the show on a personal matter, but she'll be back Monday, so I'm left to try and tackle Bret Baier all by myself. I'll do my best. President Trump addressing the assembled D.C. press corps yesterday before making his way down to McAllen, Texas. And you want to play the anecdote game with President Trump, do you, D.C. press corps? There's human pain on one side, federal employees missing a paycheck. And it's not to be discounted. That's an uncomfortable position. You have empathy for anybody that is in financial straits, right? But there's another source of human pain that the D.C. press corps is less interested to discuss, and that's where the president interceded.
Well, you know who has more human pain? The parents of people who had children killed by an illegal immigrant that should have never been in the country. You know who has more human pain? The husband that lost the wife, or the wife that lost the husband to an illegal immigrant that came in 5 or 6 times that shouldn't be here.
And one of those individuals who knows all about that human pain, Reggie Singh, he's the brother of fallen Newman, California police officer Ronil Singh. And you'll remember Reggie, he was at the press conference after law enforcement in California made an arrest in his brother's murder. You ready for some human pain? Not to be exploitive, but to provide some balance? Reggie on December 28th.
I wish I could thank all the law enforcement agencies, Homeland Security in San Francisco, everyone, Bakersfield team. I was waiting for this to happen. I'd like to thank you, working day and night to make this happen.
And Reggie and his brother Ronil are legal immigrants from Fiji, emigrated to this country legally. Reggie sat down with Martha McCallum at Fox this week, and he had this to say about the president's position and what he'd like to see done so families like his don't have to endure the pain that he is enduring.
If he would have been deported, my brother would be alive right now. I would not be doing this interview. What I truly feel about this is, you know, if we make our immigration law stricter, if we take action and not allow an illegal immigrant to get second chance, I think that, you know, we could minimize the crime rate we are having.
For more on this and other issues, we got Beto, the border, press corps, Manafort, Trump Jr., Cohen. We got a lot to cover, so let's get right to it. We're pleased to be joined again by Bret Baier, the anchor of Special Report, 5 p.m. Chicago time, weekdays, of course, and the book, again, 3 Days in Moscow, Ronald Reagan and the Fall of the Soviet Empire. Bret, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Morning.
Morning. So, just picking up on the shutdown, partial shutdown, and plus the border security issue. The president reiterated yesterday that he believes he has the absolute right to declare a national emergency, and if Pelosi and Schumer continue to be unreasonable from his point of view, that he is inclined to do that. Do you see anything, even what was floated yesterday, the idea of restarting DACA as a possibility to get Pelosi and Schumer off the dime to reach some accord, or are we going to the president taking executive action?
I think it's the latter. There was hope at the beginning of the week, midweek, that Lindsey Graham was going to be able to cobble together some coalition to do some compromise. And frankly, Democrats are not moving. They're not moving off of no at all. So I don't think it's going to move, but we'll see. I mean, today is the first day that the paychecks have not gone out. So the whole thing ratchets up about 5 notches. And once you get through the weekend and into Monday, you'll be seeing all kinds of different reports about people not getting their paychecks, and what that all means. So the pressure mounts up. I think Democrats wanted to get to this point. This is my thought, and just from informed talking on Capitol Hill to people up there, lobbyists, lawmakers, both sides of the aisle, and they think that this is a leverage point for them. I also sat in that off the record at the White House with President Trump, and I got the sense that he's not moving off this. So either somebody comes forward with some piece of compromise legislation, and he's ready to sign basically anything that gets his border security, stepped up.
Yeah, I mean,
either that,
I'm sorry,
or he's going to do the national emergency, and I think probably the latter as we look at the landscape.
Yeah, there's been a lot of opining about whether the politics of this and whether or not this is politically advantageous for the president as he eyes 2020, or the Democrats as they eye 2020, and is pouring over the polls. But I thought Matt Gaetz from Florida, congressman from Florida, said something interesting, just relaying to Lou Dobbs this anecdote of a conversation he apparently had with the president, where the president said to him, according to him, that, look, I'm going to the mat on this, and if I die, I'm going to die with my boots on. And, was that important to his campaign? I think he understands it. It seems to me that it's that important to his success or failure as a president, at least in his first term, and that there is not going to be any, walk away, we'll open the government and continue talking type of concession by the president.
Yeah. And the crazy part is that Democrats have such an opportunity. I mean, they could get so much stuff that they really wanted to get. If there's any president who could get it across the finish line for some comprehensive, or at least semi-comprehensive, immigration reform bill, this is the one.
Right.
This is your chance. I mean, if you want DACA, if you want, I don't know, all the kind of technology on the border, if you want some change to the law as far as asylum seekers, to make it easier for some, to make it tougher for others. All of that could be in. This is a guy who, once he signs on to a piece of legislation, can really move numbers as far as votes, and yet they haven't even put one counteroffer on the table.
What's the feeling at the White House and in the upper reaches of the Republican caucuses on the Hill about the developments this week with Manafort, with the suggestion that Trump Jr. will be subpoenaed, and that, of course, yesterday Michael Cohen scheduled to testify before Congress on February 7th. What's the feeling about the state of play in the collusion investigation?
I think the feeling is that it's probably before the end of the month, something is going to happen. Whether it's more indictments, whether it's the actual Mueller report. There's a lot of on both sides of the aisle questioning of what's the timeline, and we've been dealing with that for several weeks. But it feels like it's coming to a head. I said it was going to be before February, back in December, and I think it's still that way. And as far as the other investigations, the House is going to step up, and once you start getting these people testifying in public, then you have a president who will react to what's on TV, and it won't be good.
Right, if what you say does come to pass, it makes for, oh boy, will that be a raucous State of the Union address at the end of the month?
Exactly.
That will not be a pro forma State of the Union.
No, and just think about the image there. I mean, it's whatever the president is going to say about all of that, and Nancy Pelosi's over his right shoulder.
And I also wanted to know if you'll be live streaming your next teeth cleaning. I think our listeners are interested in that. We're fascinated by our bettors like Beto O'Rourke and the mundanities of their lives. We want to see that Facebook Live. We want to see everything they're doing every moment. What do you make of that and what that portends for political coverage in 20? Yeah. Okay. I think that about says it all right there.
I think I was talking to people about it last night, and I think that's jumping the shark. I mean, once you have the thing sucking the saliva out of your mouth as you're live doing the Instagram, and you're sharing that moment, he's already been sharing like cooking dinner, so it's sort of like the Truman Show, right? And at some point you jump the shark, and people say, "Okay, this is enough." I think that might have been yesterday. The Twitter response was quite something. Twitter is a dark place. Sometimes you look at my Twitter feed, it can be very, very dark, but it's also funny. And once that meme came out of him doing that, some guy said, "Oh no, I can't believe it, and I really don't want to see Bernie Sanders' colonoscopy."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and like with virtual reality games now, I mean, you could be like the doctor. You really get your hand up in there. I mean, that could be a real sort of interactive experience. Wouldn't that be fun?
Moon River.
Using the whole hand, Doc. All right, Bret Baier. And I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I picked the right place to sojourn over the holidays.
Yes.
I ran into one Bret Baier at Naples National playing the group behind him. And I mean, Bret, I'll let you tell the story because I know it was life-changing for you. Tell him about tell him about the drive that I hit with you as my witness.
I tell you what, he piped a drive right down the middle. And what I have to say is that obviously you are not spending a lot of time behind the microphone because there's a lot of practice going on there. That game looks pretty strong.
The show ends at 9. I'm out at 9:01. I tee off about 9:45. Yeah.
You got a good swing, man. We have to play sometime.
Yeah, definitely. I know you're a good player. It was fun to see you, and fun as always to have you. Bret Baier, Special Report, 5 p.m. Chicago time. The book, again, you want to pick up, 3 Days in Moscow, Ronald Reagan and the Fall of the Soviet Empire. Bret, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jim.
And he joined us on Turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.